The following show features episodic breakdowns of Jackass, either performed by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. For your safety, avoid listening to this podcast at all times. Hi, I'm Mikey Aaronworth.
I'm Jason Wellwood.
And I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Welcome to Jackass.
Welcome to Jackast. It's the podcast where we're on a path of destruction through every single episode of Jackass.
We're three lifelong fans of the show, reliving the belly laughs, bad ideas, and broken bones.
Today we're doing part 4 of Jackass Forever, and it's going to be a doozy.
Why is that, Chris?
Doozy. Are you promising?
I don't know. I just can't wait to start talking again, you know? We've got a lot to look forward to moving forward.
We do.
I like you.
You said four a lot in that sentence that you could have.
I did that on purpose.
Did you though?
I figured you did. See, I don't like this new Chris.
Let me play with
I
that.
miss fun fact, Chris. This is shitty, Chris.
Yeah,
I know. Well, we don't like. You know, there's only so much facts. We got to get back into the regular routine for fun fact. But
Chris, I have to say this. You know what I'm about to say. Before we started recording, we were talking about our notes and what we're going to do, and you picked up a fucking Rubik's Cube and you started spinning it, and I said, you better not be doing that when we start recording. Moved it away. And you just picked it up and looked at it as though you were going to use it, and I'm like, you said you wouldn't do it. You are so ADD. It
I didn't even realize I picked it up till it was almost too late.
That's
like,
it.
I was about to start twisting it, and I'm like,
I can't even get mad at you because I know that you didn't decide to do it.
Here, let me just throw it away.
I think that's just a thing from your fucking childhood of Mikey. When you tell him to do something, he's just programmed to do the opposite of what you said. It's so automatic now that you just can't stop that. It's gonna happen.
I think so.
But you can't stop us either. Certainly not in fucking part 4 of Jackass Forever. And God, I'm excited to be back here, boys, and doing this again with you.
We should say that we'll be doing 4.5, not next week, but the week after. Obviously, they announced 4.5 when we started to do our review of Jackass Forever. We knew we wanted to go in depth, so it was going to be at least 4 episodes. It turns out it's going to be 5. Our fans have been clamoring. We hear you guys. We know the listeners want us to do 4.5. We will get to it. But hey, now at least you've got everyone out there has more time to go watch the movie before we dig into 4.5.
Yep, do your homework, study up, and we'll be hitting that as soon as we can. We've got a good one today, and to jump right into it, if we've got nothing more important to say, we haven't seen enough of her in this movie. At least it feels like she's kind of, what's the word? She's a bit transient. She's here, she's there, but Rachel is back to do Scorpion Botox to lead us off. I thought you said
she's
here.
a trans woman there.
I did not say she's a trans woman. I said she's transient for the record. And relax, guys.
What's the difference?
You know what? Weirdly, Chris, that is very woke of you in a weird way. You're like, what's the difference between a trans woman and a woman? And we're like, Chris, you fucking, but you backed yourself into kind of a good statement. So congratulations.
Thanks, guys. I'm working on it. Like I said, slow progress better than no progress.
There you go.
She says, relax, guys, you can trust me. Or actually, sorry, Pontius says, relax, guys, you can trust me. I'm your doctor. And I just love that Pontius' confidence here as he follows that up with, this is the first time doing this operation. They've got a scorpion out, and basically the skit here is pretty self-explanatory. She's just going to lean her head back, and they're going to put this thing on her lips and just get it to sting the fuck out of her until she's nice and puffy. Hey, I don't know why they didn't think of it sooner. But I love that this doesn't go according to plan, like right out of the gate.
Yes.
The scorpion falls on the worst possible place it can fall on a woman on camera in 2022. Right
I would
on
say
the boob.
Second worst, because it could have gone a little bit farther down. I think that would have caused a little bit more of a problem, yeah.
But what's genius here is the reaction from Pontius, who she says, get that thing off of me. And he's like, I can't touch you there unless you give me consent. And of course she does. But I just love that Pontius there is very aware of what how you're supposed to do things nowadays. I'm like, okay, props to you, Pontius.
It's
you don't want anybody blowing that one out of proportion.
I initially, when I first saw the movie, when I didn't have the opportunity to rewind it, I thought that he was playing it up. Like, I just assumed that he was just, I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. But you can tell by his reaction, if you're paying attention, he doesn't like see it happen, go to reach it, and then like play to the camera. He's legitimately like looking away, hands in the air, standing back, like, I'm not going to do it. It was a really kind of like weirdly like over the top, because you're dealing with scorpion stinging a face. So like, of course, and even Rachel has said in interviews, I saw her on Jimmy Kimmel when she was on, she was basically like, you know, we're doing a Jackass stunt. You don't need to ask for consent. Get the scorpion off my tit. It's going to sting me. But you can tell he's trying to do the right thing. And it was kind of sweet and funny in that way.
Totally.
I liked it.
It's like me. I'm just trying to do the right thing these days, you know, and sweet and funny.
Yeah, I thought I was with you, Jay. I thought that's what he was going to say, was sweet and funny, but he's just
just trying to make this progress into this new navigating through these intense times, you know.
And isn't that
the worlds keep changing, the goalposts keep moving, and you know, you just got to keep fighting and just be a man for the people and just do what people really need.
Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Jackass. It's been fun. We'll see you next week.
Or maybe we won't if we keep going down this route. I like that the way that this starts is they say they're like, this has to be done by medical professionals, and the camera pans out and you see Jasper, Dark Shark, and the Erics, Manaka and Andre standing behind there in like mock doctor getup. Like, I see. It was just a very nice way to frame it, and that's honestly where I think Jackass Forever seems to have really benefited from having actual comedic writers involved behind the scenes. Like, we know Eric Andre's there, so we know there's probably other ones as well. Those sorts of framing mentalities and those actual jokes that are inserted into the stunts, I think add quite a bit to it.
Yeah, totally. Especially when you got Andre there on set, because he's really good at the improv. And there's actually a line where when they finished up with the scorpion, Rachel looks at the camera and says, "I feel so fucked up, you guys." And he just kind of looks up. It's like the end of an infomercial. But she looks great.
Yes.
And he doesn't even crack or anything. It's great. I love it. But yeah, the scorpion on the lips, though, it kind of goes after her in a couple different spots. Like, she gets hit in the chin right out of the gate, and she's already bleeding. It does get her in the lips eventually, but this whole segment, like, this could have just went horribly wrong. Like, when the scorpion was on her tit, like, it could have just stung her there, which probably would have been worse, like you said, Mikey. But I feel like this one, for me personally, I was expecting more out of it for some reason, but I don't know why. Like, what else could really happen here? I mean, she's going to get stung. She's either going to take it really well or she's not. And that's basically,
you know what? You're so right, Jay. The idea is great. You know, stings are going to make your lips inflame. So Scorpion Botox, the idea is great. I think they needed something to connect the idea to the actual stunt, like a weird machine that lowers the scorpion down, or like just something weird like that to add one extra step of weirdness to it. Those are the best Jackass stunts, the one that work with layers and levels. And this one seemed to be missing a little bit of one. But that being said, watching a scorpion crawl around someone's face is nightmare fuel. I've had bad dreams with that. And in fact, I think I would rather take a scorpion sting to the face than let the scorpion crawl around on my face. If there were a way I could guarantee it's just going to sting me and not be crawling around on me, I'd probably like that better.
What I kind of like about this is the irony in the whole thing. You know, like, we're looking at this like, this is insane. You know, like, for vain purposes, I want to get a Botox type thing with my lips, right? But we're completely ignoring the fact that, like, everybody is doing that these days. Yes. Botox is literally botulism. It's like one of the worst types of neurotoxins or whatever it is that exists. Like, it kills people, and people are just injecting it all over their fucking bodies. So we're laughing at the scorpion type situation, and I don't know. It's just like, it's gnarly. Like, I wouldn't want to do this.
Can I ask you a question, Chris? Can I ask you a serious question? Promise me you're going to answer truthfully.
No.
Promise me you're going to answer truthfully. Okay, try your best.
That's a death trap. Doesn't even know what the question is yet.
Okay. My question is, I saw before you said that, before you went on that diatribe, I was speaking and you were in your phone looking at something. Were you looking up the word botulism?
100%. I couldn't remember the name of it.
I knew it.
I knew this before, but I kept wanting to call it Botoxilism and just stupid things like that. And I'm like, I got to come correct. I don't want to be mumbling my words, and I want to make sure I knew the right word. But
you smugly put your phone down beside you as if to say, like, I'm going to wow the shit out of these guys. And then you just went to, I'm like, I knew you were looking at your phone or that. How do you
know me so well? It's fucking scary.
Man, it's a good thing that you looked it up, though, because botulism almost sounds like a political ideology if you don't know what it is.
Yeah, good.
Botulism?
Botulism Chris, absolutely does. You know what?
Chris is such a fucking dirty
Chris,
botulist.
Chris is a dirty botulist. He is.
A dirty botulist.
100%. At least I'm not a fucking sheep like you two bastards.
Or a sheep like all those people who botulize themselves by getting Botox just to look like everyone else.
Well, did anyone ever put that in their balls before? Like, they're a little self-conscious about the size?
Yes. It smooths. Or no, that was a Dave Chappelle bit back in the day with the Botox balls.
That's a Dave Chappelle. Jesus Christ, I missed that.
He's like, I can have the smoothest balls ever. Not a wrinkle in them at all.
It's fun. Like we can talk around this stunt a lot. I think it was good. I think it almost seemed like the first time or two that the Scorpion stung Rachel, it almost missed a little bit, and she just kind of like went back almost in like fear of like being touched. It's like, oh, there it is. Like maybe is that what the sting feels like? But you can tell that last one really fucking got her, and that's when you see her eyes go like, oh my god, this is so much worse than I thought it was going to be. She definitely took it pretty bad. And hey, listen, to all you idiots online, because I've seen this. All you idiots online who are going to it and they're like, those are actually the least venomous scorpions in the world. So like, it's not actually that go fuck yourself. You do it. You do it then. You go take a shopping cart. You do the Jackass stunts. You cannot say that they're downplaying it in this way. And I know that's kind of our job to critique these stunts, but I would never say like they should have had a more poisonous scorpion. Go fuck yourself.
It'd be like, okay, yeah, sorry, you got bit by a snake, but it's not a poisonous snake.
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
the fuck wants to get bit by a fucking snake?
Not me. Not me, Chris.
Not me
You're
at
right.
all, for sure.
Now that you bring it up, I definitely don't want to get bit by a snake.
Hey guys, let's take a bite right into this review, shall we? What would you rate this one, Chris?
Okay, that's me. I didn't expect to go first. You guys always make me go last. I'm going to be going with 6.9 out of 10.
Of course.
Yeah, I got a little, jacked up with the whole scorpion on the boobie thing, so that was pretty cool. I also am allergic to certain things, and I used to always like eat it before pictures because my lips would swell up, like apples and raw potatoes and stuff like that. So I'd have poutier lips for my photos. So I definitely connect with this on a personal level.
This is bullshit.
No, that's serious, Mikey. Tell us the truth.
I don't even know
he does.
your history.
It's like walnuts. He's got a weird addiction to like fucking walnuts. I'm going to give this one actually a 6.9 as well. I agree. I think there was a lot of potential to it based on the idea alone. That's carrying a lot of this one because it's such a good idea. But I think they could have gone a little bit higher on this or done a little bit more with it to really flesh it out.
Definitely. One thing I love about this that I didn't mention is that they're a bunch of doctors, and for some reason they're doing this operation outside of the clinic on the sidewalk as opposed to being inside.
Because they showed up to the hospital and they're like, hey, can we use the inside for the setting of this stunt? And they're like, how about you get the fuck out of here? I hate scorpions. No one wants to get bit by a snake, and it's not safe to bring that thing in here.
Also, COVID is happening.
True.
And we don't have room
too.
for you.
That's true too.
5.5 out of 10 is good for me on this one, guys. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. So it's somewhere down the middle.
I see you on that. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, that brings us out of this one and back to the old crew with something that feels a little bit like deja vu to me, guys. When I first saw Dave England walking up to a yard sale in that mustard yellow cardigan that we all know and love so well here on the podcast, I knew immediately in the theater what was about to happen when I saw him wearing that, carrying a newspaper, by the way. I didn't even have to see the one single toilet in the yard 100%. To which Dave says when he sees it, that'll work, under his breath.
This first two things, Jay. First of all, I know you said deja vu. You should have said Deja Poo, because that would have worked really well. Secondly, I agree with you, Jay. When I saw Dave England with the yellow cardigan walking with a newspaper, that was my Avengers on your left moment, like in Endgame, when all the superheroes are coming back from the snap, and it's like Falcon says to Captain America, on your left, and there's videos of people like screaming in the theater like, fuck yeah, we're getting to see it, we're seeing it. I was sitting in the theater like fucking amped. I'm like, he's gonna take a shit in a toilet in front of other people. That's all I ever wanted. That's worth the price of admission for me.
Yeah,
I think they should have. Oh, sorry.
Chris.
Actually, I'm going to let you explain a little bit more because it's, I'm the color commentator, not the whatever the hell that word's called.
And what color is this one, Chris?
Brown for sure.
Well done, guys.
It should have been brown.
Listen, I was just going to make, Mikey said on your left, and I was going to say that's the side I favor when I visit the John. I favor the left side, left cheek. I find to get better propulsion that way. Don't know about you guys, but
I just sit flat down like most human beings, but that's interesting to hear.
Amateur. Listen, who's the poo guy here, Mikey? Come
that's
on.
That's true. How dare me?
He admits it.
What I love about this sketch is that when he walks into the yard sale and he finds a toilet, that'll work, sits down on it. There's something beautiful here because the people at the yard sale aren't expecting this. They clearly don't recognize Dave from Jackass, or maybe they've never seen it. I don't know, but
I wouldn't recognize him these days, to be honest.
True.
Fair enough. He's changed. He's a little stressed, that one. But the one thing I want to point out here, Chris, before I throw it back to you, is that when he sits on the toilet and this thing goes off like a bomb, like you're not expecting that in the theater, a geyser shoots up and launches him off of the toilet. And even though these people don't know who this man is, where he came from, or why he's taking a shit in the toilet, it's all like it's his fault. I think you mentioned this on the last podcast we did, the first impressions. Like, everybody's pissed off at Dave for coming in and upsetting the harmony here at the yard sale. And it's just like immediately, it's just like a light switch went off. Everybody hates this guy. Chris, sorry, please jump in.
I have one, like you guys said, when you see him rolling up, I was fucking pumped up. The two questions I have, number one, I wonder if he knew that was what was going to happen.
Same.
But more importantly, whoever didn't actually let him shit before shooting the water off. Like, they should have really allowed the actual shit to come out first, so it really added that extra cherry on top, right?
That could have fucked him up.
They really missed the ball on that one.
Like, if he was halfway out and the water came out and pushed it back in, he could have got real fucked up there.
All of a sudden, there's like that. He's got like a tissue on his nose. It's not bleeding. The shit's just like coming out there. It like shoots all the way back up him. But Chris, I had the same thought. I wonder, this stunt had serious doorbell vibes to me. Remember when Dave England got hit by the inflatable doorknob, and I think Jackass 2, and he's walking around like, "What did you do to me?" Like, he's basically saying the same thing. And I think it would have been funnier if we knew that he was praying to, like, maybe show something behind the scenes, like, what just happened? Like, how? Because he is saying what just happened, but you don't know if he's playing it up for the people in the yard sale who, as you mentioned, Jay, are fucking pissed at him, which makes it even funnier.
Literally goes, "Where did you come from?"
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. The dialogue there is fantastic because Dave gets off the toilet. He says, "I fell on my face. Are you okay?" "I'm okay. I just don't understand." And then the guy immediately comes back with, "I don't understand why you use the toilet." Which is like, again, it's just all Dave's fault. No sympathy, nothing. Love it.
I do like that nowadays it seems like pranks are just beyond people like, "Oh, haha, good, that's funny," like clapping. Now they just don't have the patience for it anymore, which is really good. I also like, no one's commenting on the fact that, sure, it's a yard sale, but if I'm selling my house and all the components in it, why would I put not just a toilet there, but a toilet paper roll with
right
a stand it, with the roll, and a bath mat underneath it? Like, that's so bait. But good on them.
They're
showing off.
You go to an open house, you want to see what it looks like. Yeah, that's all. I love to. There's another line there where I think the lady says to him, "You were taking a shit." And I think this is evidence, this next line, as to Dave might have just actually been really fucked up after this, because he responds with, "I wasn't taking anything."
That's a great line.
And you can just tell he's a little dazed. So I think there is some evidence there that he probably didn't fully anticipate, or if he knew that was going to happen, he didn't think it was going to be that big of an explosion, because it launches him. It does launch him off the ground. It's a pretty decent explosion.
The other thing that makes me wonder whether or not he knew, or think that he probably didn't, is they do have the scene before he goes in there about him talking about how he hasn't taken a shit. So if he did know, like similar to he did in the hardware store where he has all the laxatives and he can't take a shit beforehand. If he didn't know, then you would have imagined he just would have taken a shit before he left, right? So hopefully, in my mind, I like to imagine that he didn't know that he was going to be shot up 10 feet off of a toilet.
Yeah. Speaking of 10 feet off a toilet, sorry, Chris, you had a thought before we go to the rating out of 10. Why don't you start us off then, man? What would you do on this one out of 10? Because this is awkward as fuck, so I want to get into this situation real fast.
Me?
Great.
Dun, dun, dun. Who are you asking me to do my rating?
Yes. Yeah. What are you doing?
I misheard what sorry, I have like a migraine right now. I'm not going to lie. This one, I am going with a 7 out of 10. I love I really am pissed off that they didn't let him start shitting first. Like, he actually shit in the hardware store. You can't kind of go backwards on something. Although the trajectory, like, he really fucking flew up high. Yeah. Like, visually, this was fantastic. The anticipation, it just was a little... I just wanted a little something more, but it's still a great sketch.
Yeah, I think seven is fair. I think you're being held to such high standards on this one, and there is a payoff, but I felt like they missed something on it, and I think it's because you see, they set it up. It's like, hey, here's the hardware store dump 2.0. And yes, they tricked us as the fans, but if Dave didn't know, they really should have played that up a little bit. And I think that's a bit of a miss. And then all in all, it just doesn't feel as funny as the first one. So I'm going to go with the 6.9 out of 10 on it because and it hurts me to do that because I do think that, Dave England in that sweater just evokes such a positive feeling for me, but I wanted more.
Yeah, I hear you, Mikey. And I'm pretty much right there with you guys, just because like I've seen the hardware store toilet. You just said the same thing, but yeah, it's like, how do you top that? That was such a unexpected thing at the time. So to see them do it again, they really would have had to step it up considerably to get a high rating out of me. So still funny. I think more than anything, the aftermath of just interacting with the people and the tranquility that was upset that day is worth a 6.5 out of 10, but that's about as high as I would go.
6 point what, Jay?
Jesus Christ. A 6.9 out of 10.
Uh-huh.
Hey, we should explain that for the listener, the newer listener, because we've done that and kind of glossed over it. You would have had to be listening from the beginning, essentially. We don't do 6.5s. We round it up to a 6.9.
Every time. Can't miss a 6.9 joke.
Can't. Takashi or otherwise.
Snitch ass number.
You know what you can't miss either, guys? It's Jasper going to the fucking moon in this next segment. This one is basically two large fans, the kind you would see on the back of a boat somewhere down in a swamp in Florida. They got these things lined up and they got this huge fucking ramp in front of them. So they're just going to basically get everybody nice and lubricated and see if we can shoot you off and have some fun. That's basically it. It's a simple Jackass stunt, a ramp stunt. We've seen these time and time again on the show, but I like that they got the new guys in on it to try out a ramp stunt. And this is a good debut for them. So Jasper goes first. They got everything, like the parachute behind him and everything. It's a whole fucking production here. But before we know it, it turns into a whole thing for the whole crew. We got Poopies on a water ski up next. Just a lot of fun. What'd you guys think about this one?
You know what? I liked it. It was the kind of thing. Look, Jasper, I think, is a great personality. I like when he's on set for all the stunts, but at this point, he hadn't really done anything that really stole the show. And when I saw this one setting up again, I'm like, oh, another slide, another ramp, and I'm like, how is this going to be any different than like the giant slip and slide that they went on before? But he gets fucking air, man. He's supposed to be sitting on a chair and going, and when he falls off the chair, I'm just kind of like, failed attempt, whatever. We're just going to have him making a joke, and that's cool, I guess. But he rips it, and he takes one of the hardest falls I've seen. I'm surprised that they almost didn't change the course after seeing how bad he eats it, because other people go and they get hurt, which we'll get into in a little bit. But I liked it. I was really impressed with how gnarly this one was.
Yeah, exactly what you said over there. Like, I've known Jasper from watching the Loiter Squad show, like the old Odd Future show. But he was always a personality guy. So to see him take lumps and really bounce back from it, like he took a slam. He flew through the air higher than Jackass did on the on the motorbike, as Mikey put before. And he went through the air, rolled, hit the ground really hard, and was up and laughing right after, which wasn't as fortunate for Poopies when he did his. But it was nice to see him. You kind of feel like they got to initiate themselves by taking a few lumps before you kind of get that full-blown credibility to them.
For sure.
Unless you're Pontius, then you don't ever need to hurt yourself. You just need to be pretty on camera.
And that will always be my favorite thing about the Jackass crew is that Pontius can just be there and everyone's like, yeah, we don't need him to do anything. That's fine.
Well said. And guys, I think I've said enough about this one. It's really pretty short, but yeah, you pretty much summed it up well with, big air on this one. It looked a little painful, but it looks like a lot of fun. Good way to get the new crew initiated, like I said. So I'll jump in and rate it real quick. This isn't my favorite thing, and overall, if I was to think of the movie as a whole, I probably would forget it, honestly. It wouldn't be the first thing I'd be telling people about. So I can't go higher than the one we just did with Dave England. I'd probably sit at just right down the middle with a 5 out of 10. I can't go higher than that. It's not great. It's entertaining, but it is what it is.
I'm going to go next. I actually, it's funny because you brought up a good point, Jay. You said that like, you'll probably forget that this stunt even exists. And literally I did. When it started, I was like, I don't remember watching this one at all. I didn't have anything in my notes from it from the first time that I watched it. Granted, we were watching it in a theater back when it first came out on opening day, but it kept surprising me. And I often say that sometimes you have a really good premise with bad execution, and that gives it a little bit of a shot. I think this is the opposite. especially when you get poopies going and getting a 20-second concussion. Like, you hear the windows shutting down sound when he hits his head on the ground. It's like, and he's just out for 20 seconds. And just as quickly as he goes out, he's fucking back and lucid, probably smarter than he's ever been. It's like that reboot really helped him. You know, you got like a computer full of viruses, and like the only time it runs smoothly is the first 20 seconds after it's booted up. That it feels like that's poopies in this way. So because it just kept setting the bar low and then exceeding it, I'm actually going to go a little bit higher on this one and give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that, the boot up thing. It's like for the first 20 seconds, he was like, E does equal MC squared. Like, he just saw the Matrix, right? Like, and the poopies aspect, we were talking more about the Jasper thing because I think we've already seen poopies really give it his all quite a few times. But I, you know, like exactly what you said, this one under promised and over delivered. Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe how high they got. I can't believe how much that actually worked so well. I think Knoxville even said they had every fan in LA rented for this thing.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm going with a 7 out of 10 as well.
Nice. A score that I honestly wouldn't have imagined we would have given when this one started. And that's why I think it was really cool.
Yeah, totally. I see where you guys are coming from. And Mikey, when you said it's kind of like the Windows, you know, the reboot helped them, kind of got the juices flowing again. I couldn't, for some reason, I was thinking of that episode of The Simpsons where they take the crayon out of Homer Simpson's brain and then he's just a genius for like a couple weeks until they put it back in.
Man, there's a Simpsons reference for everything. I love it.
Love it. That's how my brain operates. If something makes a connection there, I will mention it. But coming up next, this is basically... I mean, this one's short and sweet, but I actually think that it worked really well because it's got Jackass written all over it. For a short interstitial, you got just a dude skating. Sorry, I don't know. It was probably a pro skater.
No, it's Eric Manaka.
It's Eric Manaka. Okay.
Yeah.
You know me with these things, not the greatest, but he's just skating down the sidewalk, and then from camera left off screen, this guy in a like fucking yellow fist costume just comes and fucking spears him. It's like Goldberg in a fist costume or something, just knocks him off the skateboard. And I don't know, it got a laugh out of me because I remember the first time I saw it, I just didn't, you know, something's gonna happen. It was like with the BMX bike into the painting that they had.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, I was waiting for something like that. Then all of a sudden this fucking yellow fist comes out. Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it.
I wish they took that yellow fist and fucked Machine Gun Kelly up right off the bike.
Yeah, never mind the open fist. By the way,
he's waiting for that.
Who is the prop department in Hollywood that's just making giant hands in different shapes for the Jackass crew? There's one guy with a shop in Hollywood that's got like one sign, like giant prosthetic hands. Jackass rolls into town and he's like, "Whoo-wee, I'm getting to buy my son dinner tonight."
That thing's got to be so fucking gross inside.
Yes.
That's a thick costume.
Yes.
It looks like what they make the Incredible Hulk fists.
Yes, it looks like a giant one of those.
They should have like had him laying down after and had the fist like jerking him off. You know what I mean? Like a giant hand jerk off situation. No, you didn't.
No, that would have been way too much.
I don't think we need that.
I do.
Here's a question. Because when I saw Eric skateboarding, honestly, the first thing I thought was like, oh, great, we get a skateboard segment. I haven't seen one of these in a long time. And I was honestly a little bummed out when the fist punched him because I was like, I wanted to see what he had to do. I wouldn't have been mad if there were a 2 or 3 minute skateboarding interstitial. I know Jackass has kind of moved away from that. Don't waste your precious screen time on something like that, but I could have gone for it.
Is it bad that I see a skateboarder and I just think it's like Create a Skater and Tony Hawk 2? Like they all look the same. All skateboarders look the same to me, I guess. Unless you're like Tony Hawk, then I'll go, oh, I recognize that one. But otherwise, I mean, you've proven that on this podcast. You're like, I'm pretty bad.
We've seen Eric Manaka like 6 times in this movie, and now he's on a skateboard, and you're like, I don't know, Chad Muska comes. Who was this guy? Rodney Mullen? Yeah. Who the fuck? Who was this kid?
Yeah, that's why I pointed it out. Listen, the next one, this next one is, what a fucking throwback here, guys. And I feel like I can't even do this one justice because I feel like it would be robbery if I didn't pass this over to Chris.
Yeah.
And let's just give me some backstory. Why are these guys dressed up the way they are? Lay this whole thing out for me, will you? What is this?
Which one is this? Sorry,
this is Wee Man's Sacrifice, which starts off with two very familiar characters.
Sarcophilus Sarcophagus, man.
No, that's not what it is.
What's Satanicus Sarcophilus?
Nope.
I have a shirt with it.
Sarcophilus Satanicus.
Whatever, man. I can't even talk now. Jesus Christ. So, anyways, I don't care, man. When I started seeing these fuckers come out and that voice and the way they jiggle when they walk. So we have them out there and you're wondering what the whole backdrop is. They get the smoke machine out.
How are they painted walks
out.
Tell me how they paint it up too.
Oh, but that's the thing, right? If anybody that's watched this or has even listened to our other episodes knows how much we love the Satanicus Sarcophilus.
Sarcophilus Satanicus. We love it so much that we can not really remember its name.
I literally have a shirt of it.
Listen, Chris is as bad with key terms as I am with professional skateboarders.
True. Please yeah, exactly.
But yeah, anyways, when you have Wee Man laying down, he gets strapped in by ropes and they bring out a fucking raptor. Not like a dinosaur raptor, which I just realized is actually a thing. The bird raptor. And this fucking is the meanest looking bird I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And so he's out there. They put meat all over his junk, and a whole bunch of stuff ensues from that part. Wee Man having a huge dick all of a sudden that no one believed was real. The raptor coming out, him absolutely begging Tremaine to let him out of this situation. Tremaine goes, well, we can't let you out right now. The bird's in the way. I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? That's exactly what the problem is, you know?
Jeff seems like the funniest guy on set. Like, low key, he seems like the funniest guy. And 'cause the way that he just, like, when people are so scared that they forget that he plays games, he just takes it a step further and takes it a step further. Like, his excuse, Chris, is that we're trying to get you out of there, but the bird's there. And it's like, yeah, that's what Wee Man's afraid of, but he's tied down. You gotta help him. And Jeff's just like, sorry, man, we're getting some good content here. I don't know.
Don't kick the bird, he has the nerve to say. He's like, I didn't kick the fucking bird.
That's a good point, because Wee Man in this one is like, he almost has like early Preston Lacey vibes where he's just mad. Wee Man seems over it. He seems over Jackass in a weird way, but not in an angry way. And it kind of works. We've never had a member of Jackass who's just like, I don't really care if I'm here. I'm Wee Man. They're about to sacrifice me to some birds. I'm Wee Man. This is the triple wedgie. Take your shot and get me the fuck out of here. Like, he kind of has that vibe, and it is funny. And I think it kind of works in this one for some reason.
Well, SteveO did basically this sketch in a way less version with a raptor.
Yes.
In I think Wild Boys, if I'm not mistaken. He was fucking miserable. He basically gave up so fast. So it's kind of understandable that Wee Man's doing a way more aggressive version of it, and he stuck it out a lot longer. And obviously these things are gnarly as hell. So yeah, I definitely give him a lot of credit for this.
Yeah.
And Mike, you gotta start using the voice. I can't do it. I'll just butcher it.
This is Wee Man sacrificing the Sarcophilus Satanicus.
It's my favorite voice of all time. SteveO has a smirk as he's trying to do it all the time, and it absolutely kills me. One of my favorite bits ever. Like the whole. Yeah, I'm not even trying to say the word.
It is a terrifying bird. I also think it is maybe the most brave member of Jackass, or the most hungry member of Jackass, because this bird is willing to risk whatever the fuck is going on there to get a couple pieces of meat off of a human body. How hungry was this thing? There's gotta be easier meals out there in the desert of California. Go there. Don't worry about like these guys dressed up as Baron Samedi from the 007 franchise, just chanting with a whole fucking camera crew out there. God damn.
Yeah, I'd see a call to be like, fuck this shit, man. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Did anybody notice if by the end of this Wee Man's dick looked a little smaller? I didn't notice, but maybe we should go back and check, because when he went in there, he was full confidence, man. He was showing off a little bit.
He almost seemed a little too excited, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
I almost wonder if it went on the retreat after that, because the way that bird snaps at his dick and stuff is scary. No wonder he wanted to get the fuck out of there. When you're tied down, like, I'd be in the same position. Like, one misplaced snap of that beak, and you're going to lose a nut or something.
If it clips a nut, you're so screwed.
Dude, oh yeah. So I get why he was upset. And there's nothing to be upset about if you're the viewer on this one, though. And I think, if I had to jump in and rate this one, guys, this one gets a pretty high rating from me, just because I liked so many things about it. Like, they went all out on the set design. Like, this looks like you're in like a fucking graveyard or something. It looks like this is a really, really specific reference. But if you watch WWE, this looked like the match between Undertaker and AJ Styles when they did the cinematic graveyard match.
That was the craziest match ever, eh? I definitely seen that one.
I was getting those vibes, and I love that they went all out. That Wee Man was, he was willing to do it, that the guys, they put on the voice, they got in character, and they got this fucking gnarly bird out here. And just everybody, especially like Mikey, you mentioned, I wanted to point out that Tremaine is totally, he's like an unsung hero in this one, because just the way that he plays to Wee Man, and just he turns the stress dial up to 11 just by being there. But everybody's eating it up. And just overall, if I had to rate this, I had a lot of fun watching it, even though it doesn't really go anywhere. I mean, the bird snaps a little bit. It's just more fun watching the reactions. So I'd give it a by my standards, I'd give it a pretty high rating and go 7.5 out of 10 on this one.
Nice.
So I always find it really funny when a throwaway joke becomes such a cultural significant situation. Like there's no way when they first came up with this years and probably decades ago or a decade ago that they would have ever assumed this would be such a niche, I can't think of the word, but like an indie version of like what they like to do. So I love that. The other thing too is I got a little insight. I kind of skipped ahead like I normally do. And in Jackass 4.5, they do a whole bit on how scared Dark Shark is of birds. So
nice.
We didn't even talk about that. Yeah.
So yeah, they really get into it. So when you see him over there freaking out, it added such a level of funniness to me because I didn't realize. I thought it was spiders. I thought it was this. No, birds specifically. He's freaked out, and this is the scariest bird. So that added a good chunk to it. I'm going to 9 out of 10.
Oh, nice! Wow,
nice.
A high rating. I'm not going to go quite that high, but I definitely am bumping my score up for the fact that when the bird is on Dark Shark's arm, it literally looks to the camera and raises its arms up like it's posing. That's the most badass shit I've ever seen in my life. It's been possessed by the Sarcophilus Satanicus. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Right on. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a great visual. Now that you mentioned that, you're totally right. I didn't really pick that out, but man, this whole fucking segment had like the whole fucking Matrix Awakens thing going on. There was so much nostalgia. It was like they were projecting the past movie on the screen here or something. I really had a good time jumping into this one. And
Before we leave this one, before you take us into the next one, Chris, one more time. What is it that they say?
Sarcophilus Satanicus.
He got it! He fucking got it! Hell yeah! All right. He's raising his arms like a raptor on Dark Shark's arm.
And your reward...
On Cameron's arm.
Oh, there you go. He's got a shirt on for Cameron.
Guess what, Chris? Your reward, 15 gallons of pig semen. That's the next segment. That's up to 17 ounces a load, folks. 17 ounces a load here. And I love that. This sounds like it's going to be... Because the way Knoxville pitches it to us, this is kind of a behind-the-scenes preamble before the real sketch happens, and Knoxville saying, the guys think it's going to be an interview, and while they're sitting there, something may happen. So this kind of got my brain going, and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to involve like the whole cast getting like, I don't know, they're going to sit there thinking they're drinking their water, and there's going to be pig semen in it, or, something's going to happen. We're going to talk about in a minute why it's almost a bit of they subvert your expectations a little bit here because they really just pick on one guy.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that. I'm not going to spoil that yet, but I just love that setup here because talk about a throwback. This is like probably the biggest throwback in the entire movie. They hand a glass of the pig semen freshly poured to Pontius, who's just off camera. And what I love here is you already know what's about to happen because he's holding a glass. Like, they poured it for him. What do you think's about to happen? He asks the camera, why are you guys looking at me? Takes a big, big swig of that semen, and Knoxville's losing it. He thinks it's the grossest thing ever. But what I find funny is he's the one who fucking poured the drink for him. What did he think was going to happen here?
He honestly, though, didn't seem to think that Pontius was going to do it. I don't think anyone believed you. I think they were just showing what pig semen looks like. And by the way, it's way more watery than I would have expected.
Yeah, well, why pour him a glass, though, and hand it to him? That's what I'm saying. It's like you're inviting Pontius to take a swig.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of protest the first time around. Like what we're talking about, the nostalgia is, I believe it was the first movie when Pontius, he's like, if I do this, I get, a chance I get to turn down any other sketch I want, et cetera, et cetera. It was a huge deal when he drank the horse semen. So for him to go in so many years later and so quickly do this, I think that's what threw everybody off.
Sure. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
They thought he's doing it again. Like, that was supposed to be the end of a chapter there. Like, that's book closed. So when he looks at the camera and says, it's semen, all right, you get that tinge of, like, you get that funny feeling in your stomach. And that's not the pig semen. That's nostalgia, baby. And I love how Tremaine almost starts puking and says, why am I the one who's puking? I don't puke. It's like, it just got this ripple effect. It's almost like echoes of the last time we saw it. It just... If you're there on set, I can imagine the smell is atrocious. And then watching a dude drink it, like, it's got to be automatic. I don't even know if I could hold out against that.
I feel like it would smell like bacon, like have like a bacon flavor smell.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's true at all. I think that's
well, he said it was better than the horse.
I mean, look, here's the thing. Different things are going to have different tastes. Therefore, you can rank them in good and bad. But I definitely don't think it's going to taste like bacon because cow semen isn't going to taste like cows, right? I mean, it's semen. It's not the meat.
Yeah, I just choose to believe that.
Way,
Yeah.
I mean, it'll become the meat in like 9 months, I guess, in the right circumstances. But
imagine he has a pig baby in his tummy.
like how a watermelon scene grows in your stomach.
Why did I think the same thing as you?
I think because we watched Rugrats as kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, God. Yeah, you're just going deeper and deeper.
Dr. Lipschitz?
But listen, guys, this is really just the preamble to something bigger here. We're going to go indoors now to the next big segment, which is all the guys. We've got a bunch of guys dressed up in like top hats, tuxedos, you fucking name it. And they've got this dance floor. They've got a piano off to the side. And Pontius posed on top of the piano, dressed up as one ravishing young lady. And he basically says to the camera that if you're wondering if the curtains match the drapes, let me tell you, I tore the carpet out a long time ago. Everyone has a good laugh. And that's the prime example of Pontius doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to be there, look good, say something funny. And he's nailed it.
It's so vulgar though. You tore them out? Holy shit. What a mixed metaphor. That grossed me out when he said that. I'm picturing him tearing out pubic hair by the handful. What do you do with that? It's not you can't just open your hand and pubic hair just detaches. You need to wash.
You make a beard out of it and you put a guy in the back of a taxi.
I don't even know why I'm saying this. Like my ex, she would always get mad because I would like tug out my nut hairs and then just like leave them around.
Why?
Because I don't know, it was a weird like thing I didn't even realize, and I wouldn't even know that I'm doing it because it's like
what?
It's so weird. It was like
Chris, that's not a Rubik's cube. That's not a Rubik's cube you pick up by mistake.
This is before I had Manscaped, so I was just like I would just like rip out like like 3 or 4 at a time, just like grab a little, and then she'd be like, "Where do you put those? That's so disgusting." And I just like I couldn't stop. I don't even know that was happening. It's really weird. Right. So now yes, I do.
That is
now you
vile.
Don't have to walk around your house.
It's very vile. It's weirder when I say it out loud because when I think about it, it's nothing. But then I start saying it, I'm like, wow, this is pretty fucked up.
I'll tell you, Chris, whether you're saying it out loud or not, the act is weird. That you saying weird, it doesn't change anything. It's weird that you do that.
Trust me, I'm starting to realize
this isn't a bit. This is not a bit. That's weird as fuck that you do that. Why do you do that?
I don't know.
Do you still do it?
Not as much.
Have you done it during this recording?
No.
Okay.
No, not yet. Maybe.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, this recording, no.
Yeah.
Last time when I had my pants off and I was just in boxers for sure.
Okay, yeah. I can see that.
But the whole setup here, guys, is that this is no ordinary dance floor the guys are on. This is the electric dance floor. That thing's fucking wired up. And man, does this thing sound... This sounds like a nightmare to be on. Like, it's not just, a little bit of humming or buzzing. Like, when the sparks fly, it's actual, like, loud pops and bangs every time this thing fucking lights up. And I think what I love the most, though, is that, Chris, I think you'll agree, they brought back the electric seat from the card throwing trick, and they put it on the piano bench. And it's great because, you get the first set of this they test the waters a bit. It lasts maybe about 10 seconds. Everybody's flipping out, losing their shit. But it's the piano bench that really steals the show, which I don't think was intentional. Because do you know who the piano guy was? Was that Eric?
Or do you just think all skateboarders look alike? Jesus Christ, bud.
I don't remember.
So
I watched this like
I'm seeing a common theme over here.
This like
This
2
isn't a
weeks ago.
skateboarder issue. So this isn't a skateboarder issue.
Who was it?
No,
I don't
it's
remember.
another issue.
I watched it 2 weeks ago, and I'm going off my notes. I'm being 100% serious here, guys. I don't remember who it is on the bench. Like I didn't write it down.
If
Like,
if I said Mike
I can
Tyson,
send you
would
my
you
notes.
believe me?
Oh, fuck off. That's not what this is. But good catch though, Chris. You had to throw me a curveball there.
I can
but
tell
no.
he's a huge star. So the fact that you didn't say it, I was like, I don't think you know.
remember.
It's Tyler the Creator.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't write the shit down.
Jay's like,
I'm
oh,
being 100%
Tyler the Creator,
serious.
the guy you punched Aaron in the nuts a couple episodes ago.
Whatever, man. It's not how it is.
Man, no, but Tyler the Creator is such a star in this one. I'm so happy he's in it.
He should have been in the movie a lot more.
100%.
Number one, he's such a prank-minded individual. He had a show with Jasper doing pranks, which if you guys haven't seen that show, it's older now. It's a little harder to find, but Loiter Squad was an amazing show. It was like sketch comedy mix. It's almost like a CKY Jackass hybrid in a weird sense. It was like kind of artistic and kind of goofy, but he's so
It's more
he has a
Eric Andre,
wherewithal to
I think. Like a little bit more.
Yeah. But just him going in there and knowing to look under the bench right away. You know what I mean? You could tell he's a veteran in the prank game, and and the fact that he's like, okay, it is what it is. I got to just sit down and take it.
Yeah.
I almost wondered if he knew, like he saw the card trick and he knew like, oh fuck, this is this thing all over again. Like he probably put 2 and 2 together because I'm sure he's a fan of Jackass, right?
Oh, absolutely.
He's smart, man. Like that, the fact that he checked the bottom of the chair, saw that there was an electric contraption to it, and the crew of Jackass still tried to pretend like there was nothing wrong with it. They're just like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? What is? I don't know what that thing is.
He's like the top of the chair is metal. He's like, I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think they had that thing dialed up to the max because you could tell later on by what happens after. I'll let you talk about it, but it's clearly a lot stronger than they anticipated.
Oh yeah. Like when they get Tremaine in the end of the sketch, right? I think that's what you're referring to because he's like Tyler the Creator's like fuck Tremaine. I hate Tremaine. Go sit on the stool, which he does. He complies because I don't even think Tremaine expected it to be that powerful. No, he flies off the fucking stage when it goes off. Like it is no joke. So I think that's why when I said it steals the show, they were expecting the dance floor to be like the main part, but you hardly really see any of it because they're spending so much time going back to the piano that what I like
about that is this to me is like kind of perfect chaos for Jackass. They had the idea set up and it was just like dancers on a stage, the tap dancers. They legitimately brought in a choreographer to teach these guys a dance to do while they were being shocked. And I would imagine that because they have tap shoes on, they have the metal soles on their shoes, so it probably hurts them that much more.
No, they were barefooted.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry. No, you're right. They were barefoot and they had the metal cane, which clearly like every time they'd get shocked in their feet, it would hit them and they'd always be like shaking their hand because that's where the shocks are going. But it just ends up being like they're kind of the background dancers to what is going on. Like you guys said, it's everything that has to do with the piano bench itself. And that it just works so well for me. A happy accident, maybe, but it just that's what happens when you create such an elaborate setting for Jackass. Who knows where it's going to go once you like start the race, who knows which direction it's going to head, but they were prepared for all of it and it just fucking worked, man.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
And Jay, did you notice Shaquille O'Neal was in that? Oh no, sorry, that was just Jasper.
Yeah, good one. Listen, if you're gonna give this one a rating though, I don't know if we do it now or it looks like we maybe are breaking this one up according to the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I think this is going to be our last one for the episode, and we'll start off with Dave England's interview. But this will be this is the last review that we'll have. So why don't you start us off, Jay? What did you think about this one?
Okay, so I think if we got to give a double rating here because we want to go back and we want to rate the semen drink real quick, right? That's a pretty big moment. Oh, what do you guys think?
I don't know. I don't know if I would rank the semen drink, to be honest.
Well, it's in the goddamn spreadsheet.
I would have to give it less of a mark than I want to because it's such an iconic moment, but there really wasn't as much in it.
It's more of an interstitial, but it is, I would say, probably the best interstitial that we get in this whole movie.
Fair enough. All right. Well, in that case, let's just rate the electric tap dance here then in that case. And, this obviously worked well for them. I think going in, if I was just to rate it as a concept, like broad strokes before knowing what was about to happen and how it would take off, it probably would have been lower. But then once it unfolds and you kind of get this unexpected magic happening in the piano bench, for me, the rating goes up because it was a lot more entertaining to have this conflict happening. You kind of just wanted them to keep cutting back to the piano. You're like, I want to see more of that. It was great to watch. So I think overall, like this one to me was even better than the last sketch. I would go a little bit higher and do a solid 8 out of 10 for this one for me. So
nice. Chris, what about you?
Everything about this, like every detail, like you said, Mikey, they had a choreographer, they had the suits on. Friggin' even the way Tyler, the creator, had a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Like everything about this bit added to this bit. And if it was just the electric tap dancing with the guys, it would have been a pretty good one. But I always love when they are willing to go so big on the budget for one throwaway joke on the side. Yep. And the fact that even though it didn't work out as planned, he caught on to it very quickly and still decided to sit on the stool and understand that he has to do this. And, it's all for the camera, all for that. Then he goes and makes Jermaine sit down on it and he flies off. Like, this just had a lot into it. Seeing Preston doing this like weird shake thing as he's tap dancing because he's so scared was just hilarious. I got to go with a 9 out of 10 on this one. I was laughing a lot throughout this.
I think that's totally fair, Chris, and you're so right. I'm realizing as well that some of my favorite elements of Jackass is when we used to love the Jackass stunts, which was just like 5 guys hanging around in a hotel room doing stupid shit, and we don't really have a lot of that in this one, like the paper cuts, or even something like the butt chug, which you can tell they just decided to do on a whim. The muscle stimulator, that sort of thing. But this movie's version of that is the behind the scenes, is showing the filming of the stunt with the cast and crew. This one has that. Sarcophilus Satanicus, the Wee Man thing, had that. Like literally, you see the cameras in the stunt. You also had the speed bag, which is another one that I find very similar to this one that worked, where it's like the stunt is there, but then it also kind of ends up being about how funny the outside circumstances are. And because of that, and the fact that it does just kind of seem to wrap in on itself in a really fun way, I'm actually going to go the same score that I gave for the speed bag as well, just because getting punched in the nuts is a little bit funnier than getting electrocuted on a dance floor. I'm going to no, you know what? No, more people involved, more elaborate, more of a build. This one's a 9.5 out of 10 for me.
Hey,
nice. Nice. I like it.
Yeah, I totally see where you guys are coming from. Like, this was fucking hilarious to watch. It was a good sketch, and I like dying to talk about the next part because it just they took a, it was, you know what this was? It's like you go to a really good party and then people are like, hey, we're not done yet. We're having an after party at my house. So they take you to the next location and it just keeps getting better. So I'll save it for next episode, but I am looking forward to starting off with our little prank on Dave England here. But of course, until then, we have to do our housekeeping here. And I haven't forgotten, guys, it's time for the MVP segment.
Yes, so he did it. He remembered.
The fuck right into that. Chris, Mikey, what do you guys, who wants to go first on this one?
Man, MVP for me, this is a tough one because there are 2 people who I really want to give it to. But I think one of them is more persistent and consistent in each of the stunts, and it's Chris Pontius. He steals the show with the pig semen. He makes me feel bafflingly sentimental about watching a human being drink semen. I've never thought that would make me like get goosebumps of joy and sentimentality, but he did. He was in the Sarcophilus Satanicus sketch. He had that great tore out his pubes joke in this one with the electric tap dance. So Chris Pontius is going to be my MVP.
Yeah, you know what? You kind of won me over there, Mikey. I was going to go with Jasper. He kind of had his coming to moments. Sure. He was in the tap dance. Tyler, the creator, was there probably because he got him there. So he had those aspects. But yeah, you're right. Like, this was just pure sentimentality with Pontius. Even when he's not even being sentimental and he's just sitting there in that dress on top of the piano. Yeah. It's just... It just oozes Pontius. It's exactly what we love out of him. So he had a lot of good chunks in this little segment that we're doing. I got to go with him as well.
Nice.
MVP. I got to give it to Tyler, the creator.
I'm so glad someone did. I'm so glad someone did.
Because shame on you guys for taking advantage of a man's notes mistake and making me look like a huge asshole. Listen. No, but seriously, he was actually the star there for me because his reactions to the piano bench is just like, it's too fucking good, because you could be the type of Jackass cast member or guest that would have not handled that so well. You could have been a Preston Lacey in that situation. You could have been a fucking, what's his name? Machine Gun Kelly in that situation. But no, he said, fuck this. I'm on Jackass right now. I'm going to try and find a way to like turn this around in the way Knoxville would and take the prank and use it on someone else. And he does that to great effect by getting Tremaine in there. And just the fact that he was able to like catch on so quick and go, okay, I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
I just thought that made that whole sketch. And out of everything we watched, that was like, for this part of the episode, that was definitely my favorite highlight. So props to him on that one.
Amazing. I love that. LVP. I started off with the MVP, right? Yeah, I did. So I'll go LVP. LVP, and maybe some of you are out there listening. You're included in this LVP. LVP are all the people out there who were calling out Rachel Wolfson and the rest of the Jackass crew for not using a more poisonous scorpion in Scorpion Botox. You pissed me off. You done blew it, Aaron. I hate you. Go do something better with your life than picking nits about the level of poisonousness in a scorpion that's literally stinging a human being's lips.
That's a good one. Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. Is his name Aaron?
Yeah.
Let's really put him on blast.
Yeah. You done messed up, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron. I used to call my buddy Aaron. But the reason why I'm stalling is because I'm really struggling to find an LVP for this segment. Like, okay. I don't even know where to go with it from here.
That's hard. This is a hard one.
Yeah, this was a pretty good all around segment. Nobody showed any like weaknesses. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna pass on this one. I really can't. I can't just pick someone for no reason. Like, this was a great bunch of the movie, and I got to keep it that way. So cool. It is what it is.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I feel your fucking pain, though. I do, because this is hard. So I'm just going to go and throw Mikey a bone here and say LVP, shame on the one who was having the yard sale and set up the toilet with the toilet paper holder and the bath mat. Who does that?
That's a good question. Sociopaths do that, I think.
You would know all about that, Mikey.
I would. I know them very well. Like the back of my own hand, because it's the back of the hand of a sociopath.
You know what, guys? I know a lot about where you can find us on Twitter and Instagram, so why don't we talk about that? Hey, at JackastPod, and send us a message. I don't know, let us know what you're thinking of Jackass Forever so far, or if you've seen 4.5, now out on Netflix. Maybe let us know what you think of that. But as for now, we've got one more part to go in Jackass Forever, and then it will be time to say goodbye to another Jackass film feature. I'm feeling a little bit sentimental here. I almost don't want to let it go, guys, because that means we've only got one more left to go, and that'll be... Well, for now, never say never, right? For now, that'll be the end of the Jackass film.
For sure.
But it's been a blast, and we'll see you next week for part 5, where we'll continue and see just how the crew is going to prank poor old PTSD of a man, Dave England. Can't wait to talk about that. Until then, we'll see you next week. Bye. I'm Jason Wellwood.
Bye. I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Bye. I'm Mikey Aaronworth. And this has been Jackast.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Get into it!